Hey guys, what is up? It's me, Dylan Vole, and welcome back to a brand new video here on Accurate and Powerful LEGO Guns. Today, we'll be taking a look at this awesome LEGO Bolt-Action pistol. Enjoy. So here we are on a warm summer's evening with this awesome bolt action LEGO pistol. It uses simple bolt action and it is a repeater, which means that there is a fixed magazine here that uses this pushing part to make sure that the actual magazine this time isn't gravity dependent. It's heavily based off our prototype repeating pistol, however it's got a couple of cool new features and it has a lot more of a sleeker design. And before we get on to the range test, I'm going to quickly show you how to load the gun. So, go into my shirt pocket, I've got 3 rounds that kind of look like this, and all you need to do is pop it open and load as many rounds, up to around about 5 or 6 as you wish, through this hole down here. And you want to make sure that the gun is level when you load it, because otherwise it can be quite fiddly with the orientation. And then you want to put this pusher part back on to the magazine like that, and then when you're ready, you cock the gun like so, you aim and you fire. Just like that. And now, without further ado, it is time to go on to the range test. And here we are with the range test, and what we're going to do is we're going to load these 3 rounds into this gun. We're going to shoot it that way 3 times, and then afterwards we're going to see how far this gun is able to shoot. So here we are with test number 1. Here we are with test number 2. And here we are with our 3rd and final test. And that was the range test, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go at range and we're going to see how far those projectiles have shot. So this week, to give you a little bit more clarity, we've gotten a couple of photos there to kind of give you a picture of where they have landed rather than me just talking to you, so you can kind of get a flavour of how far they would have gotten. And by the small marker here, small orange marker, is the one that shot the furthest. This one, which came in at 4 meters 30. The one that didn't shoot so far, but yet still did pretty good, was this one. I only got 2 markers, which marked the one that didn't shoot so far and the one that shot the furthest, so we've marked it with my LEGO gun. And this one came in at 4 meters, and of course, and the one that travelled the shortest distance over here is this one by the big marker. That one came in at a measly 3 meters, which isn't really that bad considering that LEGO Brickshooters aren't as powerful as their rubber band counterparts. The range is slightly inconsistent, and the power of this gun doesn't meet the standards of some of our other LEGO weapons. However, can the gun make up for that in its accuracy? It will be time to find that out shortly with our accuracy test, but before we do that, allow me to go through all the details of this awesome LEGO weapon. This is a LEGO bolt-action repeating pistol. Its mechanism and design is based off of our prototype from 2016. Unlike with our previous LEGO repeating Brickshooter, this one uses our usual LEGO pistol grip. It is slightly more comfortable than the one that was shown on the original prototype. This gun is a little more lightweight than the prototype with a sleeker infrastructure. The trigger is very similar to the one that we had on our prototype Brickshooter. However, it is housed inside a very sturdy trigger guard to aid with the trigger discipline. This time the magazine resides on the bottom of the LEGO weapon, and it is a basic small hole which is 2 studs wide, which allows us to fit those small cylindrical pieces like these into the magazine. It is surrounded with standard LEGO bricks with a technic part for our rubber bands, which allows us to push this part upwards, allowing us to chamber the round one at a time. Assembling this pusher mechanism is very simple. All you need to do is place this technic brick inside of the magazine. Then all you need to do is, with the rubber band that is wrapped around the technic connect, is attach it to the end of this technic brick, and you may notice this technic axle, it's got a little groove in it. To help keep the rubber band in place, I recommend you just slot the rubber band through that groove like so. The actual mechanism of the LEGO gun is very similar to the one on our prototype Brickshooter, except the bolt is slightly longer to accommodate for the fact that the ammunition is slightly shorter, and so is the magazine. Again, it is a very simple construction with a couple of LEGO Technic rods connected to this cross-shaped Technic axle like this, and with this trigger piece holding this part in place until it is pulled down, allowing for this bolt to go forward and strike the projectile out of the chamber. The trigger piece is very simple, only using 2 pieces. This L-shaped Technic rod and this one kind of L-shaped Technic part. Except this one's got a little tube on the end. This time the LEGO weapon itself, or at least the top of it, is reinforced by a big massive LEGO Technic set of rods here. And what this should allow it to do is to help keep the top of the weapon in one whole piece. The rest of the weapon is rather sturdy in its construction, and even on our prototype Brickshooter we haven't had many issues with the bottom half of the lower receiver of this weapon. This rubber band here, which is typically connected to both the bottom of the magazine and the top receiver of the gun, like this, also helps with providing additional sturdiness to the LEGO weapon by helping to keep it all clasped in together. Additionally, we've got a rubber band here which is supposed to provide tension to this trigger piece and is assembled by pushing it up onto the trigger piece and pushing the rubber band up the trigger guard itself. And as long as you keep the gun all in one piece, that rubber band should stay in place. There are also 2 rubber bands that are tasked with providing the tension to the bolt so that the bolt can shoot out the projectile, and assembling them is very simple. So all you need to do is take a rubber band like this, and it's best if when assembling it you push this entire part forward and move the magazine downwards to allow it to slot in like so if it is cocked backwards. Then all you need to do is wrap it around like that and wrap it around this part of the bolt and this part of the LEGO gun. Repeat the process for the other side like this until you have tension being provided to both sides of the LEGO weapon. If you need to, you can always wrap the rubber band around either side to give it a little bit more oomph. And when you have done that, and you've evened the whole bolt out, you are ready for action. These are the iron sights of the LEGO gun. The iron sights themselves are very simple. The rear sight is comprised of 2 sets of cheese slope tiles with a flat Technic base plate with a small studded base plate on the bottom. The base is attached to these 2 single studded 2 wide base plates, which allows this 3 stud wide construction to be centered in the middle, like so. The front sight is an even simpler construction, with this simple hooking part being attached onto this 1 stud 2 wide base plate, allowing it to remain centered just like the other one. There is also a nifty little tactical rail on top to allow you to place any desired sight on top of the weapon. And just like last time, this part here, on the sides of the barrel here and inside the barrel itself, all of those 3 where there is no rail, is polished off with these flat base plates. This LEGO gun can take in 2 different types of ammunition, either these cylindrical pieces or these LEGO Technic rods that look a little bit like this. And both of them each have their own different benefits. This one has a further range, and this one allows you to quickly load them all in using the clip. Both of these rounds can use a clip, and that's if you load this in the incorrect direction, you can use a clip to hook it through and fish that round out. So now I am going to show you how to load both of the ammunition types by loading it into the magazine in conjunction with one another, which you can do. So obviously you need to remove this part first. Then what you need to do is get the clip if you wish to load this type of round, pop it into the magazine and allow the round to drop in like so until it is loaded. Then with this round, all you need to do is just pop it in like so. Then what you need to do is get this pusher part back onto the bottom of the gun and connect a rubber band to it to provide the tension, like so. And then you are ready to fire with both types of rounds, like so. And of course it is clear to see that we've got a nifty little device capable of some pretty damn awesome shit. However, will it prove useful in the accuracy test? Let's find out. How will this gun fare against those 3 targets? It's time to find out. Let's get it started. Test number 1. Pass. Test number 2. Pass. Third and final test. Pass. All 3 pass. And of course, it wouldn't be really a fair test unless we shot the original rounds. So, in they go. And here are our last 2 tests. So, test number 4. Pass. Test number 5. Pass. All 5 pass. From the accuracy test, it is clear to see that this gun can hit every single target present. However, it took me a lot of practice to manage to do it. I did have a load of practice shooting, not necessarily tests, where I have missed targets. So this gun isn't actually perfectly accurate, but We're going to see in a second if this gun is still precise in a second with the precision test. No doubt they would be accurate with really big targets, and that I managed to get a fluke with the targets I have just shown you. But before we do that, allow me to talk you through my own personal opinion of this gun. So of course this gun has like 3-4 meter range for a LEGO Bolt-Action Brickshooter, which I think is really good. You don't typically get that with LEGO Brickshooter, so this gun is definitely quite powerful. It also is very simple to use. It's got a simple bolt mechanism, it's got a simple trigger, and it's got a simple mechanism, which means that you can go in, you can help fix it, and sort out whatever. Another good thing is that it doesn't have a very large trigger pull, and that pulling the bolt isn't actually the hardest thing in the world. Okay, it's a little awkward because yet again you have to pull the trigger, but it's still easy and simple to use. The magazine pusher works really well. I haven't had many problems with this part of the LEGO gun, except for maybe the rubber band breaking, but that I'll be going on in a second. The grip, yet again, absolutely comfortable, easy to use, easy to just hold on to. It feels very comfortable. Doesn't feel like you're holding something made out of Lego. The trigger guard is also really nice, really sturdy, and just really pleasant to have on the weapon, unlike our last LEGO Brickshooter or Repeating Brickshooter. We've also got a nice pair of iron sights. I don't know if you can see them again. They're pretty good, they're serviceable. Okay, they're slightly misaligned, and we're going to go into that in a bit more detail in a second, but they are iron sights that do work on slightly bigger targets. We've also got a nice little tactical eye on the top, and that I believe is an awesome feature on the LEGO gun, because that means you can just kind of be flexible with it. If you want to remove these iron sights and place this sight on top, feel free to do so. If you want to leave sights on, that's perfectly fine. And you rack it off and the gun returns to normal. Additionally, the LEGO gun is a lot more sturdier than our previous LEGO Brickshooter, and that's because of some of the reinforcements made on the LEGO weapon, like a Technic rod on the top, and of course this rubber band, very similar in design to the one we had on our previous one, except it's closer to the magazine of this dainty LEGO weapon. And of course, we've talked about all the good things. We're going to go on some of the bad things. And bad thing number one is... Ready? You have to pull the trigger to cock the gun. Nah, it's not a good idea. I have had plenty of misfires just because of that. Another thing that can happen is you can get a couple of rounds that get jammed into the LEGO weapon. That's not good at all. It happens few and far in between, so I'm quite glad about that. But apart from that, none of my other LEGO guns seem to jam, so I'm really disappointed that this LEGO gun jams, and I'm thankful that it's got a lot of redeeming features. Otherwise, I would have destroyed it a long time ago just because of that jamming. Another issue is the rubber bands just seem to snap on this gun. I know what's causing it. It's the fact that it's tense all the time, but I don't know what's causing it on this one, however, but the rubber bands just seem to die out, and it uses a lot. It eats into your rubber bands just to actually have the gun on display, or even shoot the thing. It's even worse. You can lose the rubber bands very quickly. The rubber bands start to deteriorate. It's probably the brand of rubber bands I'm using, to be fair, but still, it's a really bad feature. I've got other LEGO guns that are using weaker rubber bands, or more warm rubber bands, and they're keeping them on, whereas you put new rubber bands on here, they just snap off very quickly. Another bad feature is, of course, trigger rubber band is poking out, and it's a little misaligned. The barrel is tending towards my left, your right, whatever it is on the YouTube video, and that isn't good either, because of course when you're lining up the sights and you aiming to hit something and you pull the trigger, it just tends to go in the wrong direction. the tip is to try and kind of align it, but align it to the furthest right hand side of the target, and you're most likely to hit it. That's how I managed to fluke the accuracy test somehow. No, because getting accurate with this gun does take quite a bit of practice. So it is, in my opinion, a fun little pistol, and despite some of the shit going wrong with it, I really like the weapon and I really like how it works. I like the power in it. Accuracy could do with a little bit fixing up, but you can't really do too much with it because the barrel is on one side, it's lopsided. But apart from that, it is an all in all good build. However, is it a precise build? It is time to find that out with the precision test. In order for a gun to be of any use, it has to be precise. Is this gun precise? Well, it's time to find out. So here we are with test number 1. Fail. Here we are with test number 2. Pass. And here is our third and final test. Pass. 2 out of 3 pass. Okay, so this gun, from the precision test, we can see that it's not perfect and it has got a bit of a flawed system and it doesn't work quite the way it's supposed to. However, it is capable of hitting the target most of the time. And that's all we've got time for today. I hope you liked the video. If you like the video, give it a like, and if you want to see more, click subscribe. And of course, next time we'll be showing you one of 2 things, and that depends on when this one is finished and I've managed to gather all of the rounds. So I'll either be showing you this LEGO single action revolver or this LEGO blowback Glock, based on the Glock 19 and on the dimensions. I think I've done a pretty good job for my first replica, I don't know, but we'll have a talk about it either next video or the video after. Thank you for watching, and of course, keep on building. Peace.